What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Josh's Review Corner. Today we're back with another episode of the Conversation Corner, and today is a little bit different, a little bit more special, if not a lot more special. We're in a foreign country in Seoul, South Korea. My time here has been amazing, but it got even better today when I met up with Miss Minju, as she is our guest for today's episode. How are you doing, Ali?
I'm doing great. We right by this ice rink. Blessed, loving it. We're in Seoul, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this ice rink is crazy. These lights have been crazy. We were talking about it like on the run up to the hotel. Like all the lights are like individually placed. It just looks insane. But you know, it's like crazy. So you kind of have bounced back and forth between Korea and LA, and just coming back to Korea. So kind of explain like what that's been about. Like, why have you been bouncing back and forth so much?
Yeah, honestly, it's something I'm still exploring with the Lord, but I definitely felt led by the Spirit to be out here. I have extended family out here, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins that I haven't seen in so long. And, you know, not all of them believe, so I think me just being present, it's been really good quality time, family time with them. Also, just reconnecting with my roots. You know, I've graduated, just chilling out here, exploring with the Lord, so yeah, it's been an adventurous time. I do get homesick sometimes, so hence the back and forth, being in LA, then out here. Yeah.
And speaking of homesick, you know, you're connected to other people in the Christian hip-hop genre, people like Patrina DeLacy and plenty of other people. But I'm curious, how do you get introduced to Christian hip-hop / Christian K-pop? What is that like? Who is the first person that you hear about? I just want to hear all the details on that.
Yeah, honestly, so starting with Patrina DeLacy, shout out my sister, my best friend. I've actually known her since 3rd grade, which is insane. So we went to the same school together, private Catholic school in LA. And yeah, we've just been through thick and thin together. She's seen me grow up, I've seen her grow up. And yeah, she's actually the one, her and her family, they were the ones that planted seeds for me to learn of the true gospel. Because even though I went to Catholic school, I didn't really fully understand. But they would take me to events like Harvest Crusade. She would pray for me over the phone while I was at MIT, really going through it. So she was she introduced me more to the faith and discipled me through that. And then it was her now husband. It was her boyfriend at the time. When COVID happened, we were all kicked out and we went back to LA. You know, the world might be ending, who knows? We're just chilling. Yeah. Let's just do what we love. And we've always loved music. A core memory with Trina in 5th grade was that we were the only ones that stayed after at this local fair called the Larchmont Fair, and we were the only ones dancing to Usher, and everyone else was too scared. But we always had a love for the art. So we put that into practice. Justin's cousin was from ATL. He knew how to rap. He taught us. Well, he taught Justin, and then Justin taught Trina and I. And then that's where my journey with rap started.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You mentioned the fact that you went to MIT. Now, I don't know about you, but, like, you can't be dumb and get into MIT. Like, you have to be pretty dang smart to get into MIT. I want to hear your journey for that. Like, how do you get to MIT? Is there, like, what's the letter look like? I just want to hear all about that. That's so interesting.
Honestly, most people don't ask me this side of the academic side of my life. So honestly, it was the way I got there. It was really a big family effort, I would say, community effort. My parents put in so much time making sure I got to be able to take SAT classes outside of school. So I started taking SAT classes my freshman summer. And, you know, you're not even thinking about that if you're a typical freshman. Mm-hmm. And at the time, they had the old version of the SAT, so I studied up on that. And then they changed it all up, so I had to study again. But I got my groove on with that. So, yeah, it looked like a lot of time spent studying, but I kind of just found some pattern recognition, I guess. Because I always loved, like, it was easier, I guess, to understand how school systems worked. I enjoyed solving problems. I enjoyed math. I would listen to J. Cole and solve math problems because I could listen to the lyrics and understand. It's like a different language. So I honestly had a love for it. I would come back home and watch, those videos like on like very Satium. Is that how you say his name?
I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So I would just like watch those YouTube videos. Physics girl, she was a big one, a big inspiration because she went to MIT, and she's like, you can be a girl and love physics. So I would just nerd out, you know. So
Man.
yeah.
And like, how did your time in MIT go? How did you feel about your time?
It was such a journey. I think I have good closure with it now, but it's where I had my lowest of low moments, which is where also was the peak because that's where the Lord met me so clearly. Like, he's been present throughout my life and he's been showing me that, but now my eyes were open to see him there. So yeah, it started off very wild. I was very wild. Had the purple hair dyed and living my best, I guess, just carefree life and partying all the time, just doing whatever, sleeping at 5 a.m., playing games with friends, just doing whatever I wanted. Did not feel free. Got in a lot of trouble. And then that's when I met the Lord. COVID happened, and then I got rooted in faith, started making Christian music. And then when I went back to MIT, it felt like redemption, like God really built out foundation. I found out the reality of Christian fellowships. If y'all don't know there are Christian fellowships, there are Christian fellowships. I did not know that when I was wilding out. They were not reaching me much. So I was in like the corner, like the alternative corner in school. So yeah, a lot of ups and downs. It was different being back there with the same people, but now I lived a completely different lifestyle. And then also being in this place where science and intelligence and knowledge is so prioritized, but also sharing that, being able to share that space with people who have such a strong belief and faith in the Lord, that was beautiful. So
Yeah, and I want you to speak on this, and we kind of spoke about it a little bit when we were at the Korean barbecue place. But what do you see as the difference between Korea and America, really?
there are lots of slight differences, but to start with the main ones that you may observe right away, and you've observed, is the collectivism versus individualism. So in Korea, everything you do, you move more as a unit. Like, we were just, chilling, eating barbecue, and the woman serving us, she's just calling me 언니, which means sister. And she's asking me all these more personal life details, like, oh, like, you're from the States, you speak English well. Like, that's just more normal right away. You'll see people walking in groups more so, and prioritizing group think. That sounds not the best, but like, you'll see people wearing more similar clothes. No one's standing out too much because we're all just like moving together. Whereas in America, everyone's just doing their own thing, which there's a beauty to that too. It's just different. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge difference with Korea and America. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and also speak to this, like, as far as evangelism goes, do you think there's a difference between how you evangelize in America comparatively to Korea?
Yes, I think so, but because it's a recent city trend, unfortunately, for people who are on the streets, and if you want to talk to a stranger, like, you might see a video, shout out KP Serves, if you know him, or Richard Lorenzo, if you see them. They'll just talk to people on the street, but in Korea, automatically, people will think, oh, this is a cult trying to recruit me. So you'd have to genuinely build relationships first, or it would have to be a bit more clever, like through the arts or through a company. It's harder to just speak to a stranger right away, I would say. That's the main difference.
It's interesting that you talk about cults, because I remember reading something that South Korea also has the most heretical branches of Christianity. Like, do you find that to be true in your experience out here?
I would say it's true. I mean, there might be just some fishy stuff going on somewhere, somewhere in the States that we just don't know. Yeah. But the land is small. There's not many secret places you could go to do stuff like that, and they have better surveillance here. So maybe there's an aspect of that, but my friend and I like to joke that we have the most amount of people who claim they're the second Jesus, and they should have a convention and see if there's a third and fourth one. But there's definitely a lot of cults out here with a lot of crazy teachings, like the Mother of God one.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say the Mother of God cult. I remember encountering some of those people in the United States, but I found out like Christ on Song, like it like all kind of like comes from South Korea. Kind of crazy.
It is crazy, and I'm not sure how they're able to spread so much outside, but I know my friend was almost recruited into one. because she was falling in love with K-drama, K-culture, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you free Korean cooking classes if you come join us. And it was leading to that. It's so intricate. But I hope she got some good recipes out of that. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the churches out here comparatively to America? Do you find them to have a lot of similarities, or is there even like a difference there culturally?
I would say there is a bit more difference culturally in this regard because, so my experience in America has been mainly in LA and Boston, which are much more, I would say, liberal environments. So maybe, I'm not speaking for all of America, but just my experiences, it's a bit more democratic, I would say, the church. It's a bit more like you could just volunteer for the role. I mean, obviously you still have to go through some sort of checking, like making sure, okay, you're about it. But here it's a bit more hierarchical and patriarchal. Yeah, because I would say it's tied in with more that Confucianist culture, and then with the, with what the scripture says, it can be more like, okay, men being the spiritual leaders of the household, like things like that. It'll be rarer to find a woman pastor out here, things like that. Those are the differences. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I want to take a little bit of a sharp pivot here and talk more about your music. You have this performance coming up tomorrow out in Hongdae.
Yep.
Obviously, that's very exciting. But, like, why Christian K-pop? Like, what interests you about Christian K-pop specifically? Like, obviously, we're in Korea, but why that for you?
Yeah, honestly, I grew up on K-pop, not Christian K-pop, unfortunately. It wasn't really a thing. And being such a big fan of 21, Big Bang, these more second-gen K-pop groups, I wanted to create space for those kinds of sounds, and I realized, okay, no one is really doing that. Christian rap, there is a lot of diversity. Obviously, there's always room to explore more and go beyond those boundaries, but Christian K-pop not really existing. And then also, it was one of those situations where I released my song Time, and I called it hyperpop, and the comments were saying, hey, this is actually more K-pop than hyperpop. And I was like, oh, is it now? I mean, okay. And then I rode along with that wave, and I thought the genre matching was a bit better. So that's how we got here with Christian K-pop.
Wow. And so this is a pretty cool fact about Allie. She actually got to perform with Lupe Fiasco, if I'm understanding that correctly. How did he get to know about you, and how did that opportunity come about? Was it because he knew about your Christian K-pop, or what was it?
Actually, I was his student because he's a professor at MIT currently too. It's so crazy. It's so amazing what he's doing, and he's really, rap has covered a lot of different spheres and spaces. But education, I think he and Professor D1 at Tufts, they're really pushing that forefront in Boston area. I mean, Professor D1, he started at Harvard, and then Professor Lupe was at MIT. I still have a habit of saying professor in front of their names. I'm graduated now, I could just call them their names. But so I was a student, and he was just saying, hey, any one of my students want to come up here at his Boston show and just show him what we got. So I just went up. And then that was that. So it was really chill.
Wow, that's an insane experience. Was that nerve-wracking? That has to be nerve-wracking.
I had a feeling he was going to do that. So I was practicing on the Uber over. I was actually a little bit late. It's funny, I almost didn't get into the concert because I had an older passport photo that I showed them. They're like, that's not you, because it was me with the dyed hair. They're like, that's not you. And I'm like, no, this is me. So thank God I was able to go, and my friends vouched for me. And I had a feeling I was already riding along that adrenaline, so it wasn't that nerve-wracking. Whenever I'm on stage, it's not that nerve-wracking. It's always before, interestingly. Yeah.
Wow. And I want to go back to this whole, the intro to K-pop, and then, Christian K-pop specifically. Are there any Christian K-pop artists that you think deserve more recognition right now, or that you know about, or Christian rappers out here in Korea that you think deserve more recognition?
Oh, most definitely. First person I thought of right away, my sister. I actually just called with her today. Her name's Hannah Yujin, and she's actually based out in Dallas at the moment.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so you could probably hit her up too. But shout out Hannah, my 언니. She Yeah, she's making fire Christian K-pop, and we actually have a song together that's coming out, but that's more low-key. So shout out her. We got Soo. He's a Christian rapper out here, and he was actually based in LA for a bit. We got Anandalite and Hadash Music with 50 kg, 50 kilo, that's his Korean name. We got Zero and Kitty B. She's a fire Christian Korean woman rapper. So those are the people off the top of my head that I could think of. So
wow.
Yeah.
And like, how would you describe their style? Is it very similar to your style, or is it like something completely different?
I would say Hannah's style, she just released something that reminds me a bit more of second gen K-pop. So it's a little bit different because K-pop is such a wide genre, you could really step into different sounds. Soo is a bit more rap. Zero is a bit more, he actually has a song with Limo Blaze. It's more trend, chill, R&B vibe mixed in together. So they definitely have a wide variety of sounds. Hadash Music is mainly rap, so all different kinds of sounds.
Wow. Wow. I want to just go to this show that's happening tomorrow. You know, obviously this is a very exciting moment for you. What do you want the listeners who come to the show to leave with?
I want them to leave with, if anything, that God is with them, God sees them. And I hope to do this personally and all of us through just the authenticity that comes with Christian hip-hop and hip-hop elements, because it's mainly a Christian hip-hop show. And that they're not alone, God sees them, and that they could reach out to the Lord anytime because he's right there with them through it all.
Wow. Praise the Lord. Well, Allie, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing. We'll see you guys on the next Conversation Corner. Peace out.